It's this idea of where are you supposed to learn about marriage? And one of the growing trends out there, and I'll call it a growing trend because I don't think it was something when we were
Mm-mm.
really young in our marriage, is finding a mentor couple. You might be thinking, what the heck is a mentor couple? A mentor couple, if you think about it, think about your career. In your career, mentorship is probably something that you've been exposed to. You find someone who is further along in their career, maybe at your company, maybe in your field, and you build a relationship with them where you ask them questions, you learn how did you get to where you are. Same concept, just applied to your marriage. Are there couples in your life that have bits and pieces or experiences, or are they where you want to be? And can you build up a relationship with them? So we grew up in Oregon. Our marriage started in Oregon. We're married in Oregon. We now live in North Carolina. When we lived in Oregon, did we have a mentor couple?
We had seen my parents, who have been married a very long time, and seen them overcome obstacles and work through things, and they're going strong. And so that was an example of longevity, and that's something that we saw.
Yeah, your parents, you mentioned a long time. So we've been married 30 years, 30 plus years. They've been married 50 plus years at this point. So they'd already been married a very long time by the time we got married. And so they're a great example of enduring in a marriage and having those rough times and facing those rough times and dealing with it and going through raising kids and coming out the other side. Like they're a great arc of what a long-term marriage looks like. And then we did this thing where we picked our family up and we moved 3,000 miles across the country. And we basically lost what now looking back might have been considered mentor couples in our life.
Right.
So what did we do when we got here on those fronts?
We winged it for a while.
Quite a while.
But then we started meeting people. We met people in our neighborhood that had long-lasting relationships, and they were like, wow, they seem healthy. We met people through the girls' activities. You coach soccer, and so we met some adults that way that were couples that seemed to be healthy. And so we kind of found them, but it took a bit once we got here.
Yeah. So the thing that we never did is really find a couple that we treated as a mentor couple and leaned in and talked to. But we did start to surround ourselves with couples that had characteristics that we liked and we aspired to. But this wasn't a formal thing that we did. And I think the trend now is that people are really looking for this, searching it out and embracing it. And that's not at all what we did.
Mm-hmm.
We organically fell into relationships that we took stuff from. And the thing we didn't ever find, and if you can find this, power to you, is a couple that really embodied and personified many of the characteristics we were looking for.
Right.
We've done a bit more of a pick and choose. Like we've got through the soccer club, we had a couple that when we very first got into that, we'd run a local soccer club, youth soccer club. There was a director of that and his wife who were probably the most friendly couple that I've ever met with each other. Like they just truly loved being with each other. And their idea of any good time was always better if their spouse was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we had seen that in a lot of our other couples, right? They might have had respect and love and mutual, but they weren't like best friends. And I think we really liked that piece of like, wow, every time they're together, like they give off positive vibes as a couple. We had neighbors that you mentioned that were about 10 to 15 years older than us. And they had raised their kids a little bit further along than we were. They were established in the community. They seemed to be relationally good. So we picked things about parenting and neighbor, like just things that we liked from them. But I don't think we ever had the single, like, hey, this is our mentor couple.
We didn't. I think you framed it exactly right. We saw characteristics of other couples that we were around, and we liked those. But there wasn't any one couple that we were like, you know what, we should spend more time and get maybe a bit more feedback, some constructive, like it actually asking, how did you do this? We were more, I guess, passive in that we watched it, but I don't remember ever asking anybody,
Leaning in.
wow, you guys are good. How did you get to be so good? And I think a mentor couple would be somebody you would ask that, those things.
So the growing trend is people are looking for mentor couples. Love it. Do that. If you can find and identify, that's awesome. If you can't do that, the way we sort of stumbled through to it is we very intentionally took characteristics from multiple couples and sort of cobbled together, if you will, the view of what we wanted our marriage to be. Another way you can get those, and this is not a plug for our podcast, But it is one of the motivations of why we are doing the podcast, is that many people don't have a glimpse into what a healthy relationship looks like. And so one of our goals with this is to just show you what a healthy relationship looks like. And as we look to build our community and to interact with people who are watching, our goal is to just provide mentorship. Here's what it can look like. Not what does it have to look like, but here's what it looks like for us.
Right.
Can you put it into practice in your relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely a driving force for doing this, is to show people that it can be done, and that there are those of us out there that work on our marriage, and that's a good thing.